More fun than getting mana fucked, but less fun than Friday night. This is Two Fat Guys Discuss.
Welcome back to Two Fat Guys Discuss. I'm John.
I'm Dan. Sir?
Sir. And welcome you.
Welcome to episode 5. Or 4. Episode 4.
It's episode 4. You're getting ahead of yourself, sir.
Of Two Fat Guys Discuss. We're going to be talking about Magic the Gathering today. If you didn't get that from our little intro there. How are you, though? How are you on Valentine's Day Friday?
Doing really good. Got to spend a lot of the day with my fiance. I loved it. It was great.
Good Valentine's Day?
Yep.
Good to hear.
I didn't get her anything because she's not that kind of girl.
Oh yeah, she's not. I know Jack.
But she knows that I'm a nerd, and she bought me a new video game. I didn't even like we were at the store, and she's like, "Oh, that bin says all games in this bin $5. See if you find something."
And what game did you get today?
Tropico 4.
That's what you were playing when I got here.
Yes.
Pretty interesting game. Check it out.
Check it out. If you're a fan of strategy games and like an in-depth strategy game, warning, it is on consoles, but
they do have it on the PC as well.
Yes, and it is in-depth, so fair warning.
I've been cold today. It's still freezing. It's getting warmer,
but still
freezing out.
That was our first attempt at keeping time. Apparently the timer was only set for like a minute. Ignore that.
My bad.
It's all good.
We're going to be discussing Magic today, though. Magic the Gathering. A good way to start our discussion on Magic the Gathering is, when did you start playing Magic?
I'll let you go first, because actually mine goes kind of into a little story, and you know how I am.
Alright. I started playing Magic. Actually, my first time ever making a deck was at the Rise of the Eldrazi pre-release. Okay. Josh Sparkles and I went to the pre-release for Rise of the Eldrazi, and that was the first time. Like, they helped me put everyone there was real nice. They helped me put together a deck, and that was the first time I've ever played Magic.
That was the first time I ever played Magic.
It's Rise of the Eldrazi, and I did get Emrakul in my packs.
Nice.
So I was pretty happy about that.
Nice. Now I don't know what set it was for me. I don't know. I didn't start following until I needed to make a standard deck to do Friday Magic. But when I started playing Magic, I actually started playing Magic due to the Pirate Crew.
Yeah.
The group of people that became the Pirate Crew.
Back at Whitmer?
If any of you stumble upon this or whatever, Pirate Crew for life, don't worry. We still remember the Kingdom of George and the war toward City of Danny. But that story's for another time. But anyway, so we're sitting there at lunch. And I was dating Danielle at the time. And sitting there at lunch, she's sitting with her friends, and they're like, "Oh, I started playing Magic a couple of days before, but I didn't have any cards." So the captain, the man who became the captain, Captain John Begala, he threw together like some deck out of some of his extra cards with a lot of colorless and artifacts, but still,
it was a workable deck.
Yeah, it was a workable deck. And we did a little tournament, and the captain being the man he is, and when he was confident, that man was confident, and that's why he was our captain. He was so confident in his zombie deck that he put up my old elf deck, and it's mine because I won. He put the elf deck up, and he's like, "This is whoever wins this tourney gets this deck," and it was the old Well-Wisher, Heedless One combo, Defiant Elf combo.
A very nasty combo deck.
Yes, a very nasty, oh, I can either swing and hit you for like 150 damage with Trample, or I could tap Well-Wisher, untap it, Well-Wisher again, and gain 320 life. That kind of deck. But anyways, so, we're playing, doing the tournament. She comes over, and you remember in high school, 90% of your communication with your girlfriend was notes.
Yeah.
You had to read your notes. I get this page note, and she's like, "Don't read it until after school." So, of course, I'm going to read it right now.
Yeah, of course.
She's like,
"Don't." So you busted open the note?
Yeah, she's like, "Don't read it till you get home," because we rode the bus together home, too. I'm mid-match with AJ, and I'm doing decent, kind of getting my ass kicked. And, reading this diatribe note, and about 3/4 of the way through of it are the three the 4 words, "I'm breaking up with you."
Oh, that's rough.
And, so I didn't read the rest of it. I read that, and I just went, I stood up, and I was like, fuck! In the middle of lunch. And she just, looks over at me, and then just puts her head down. He read the note. And then, knowing my deck knew that I was so pissed off, it started working. Just boom, 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 knocked out JJ. Boom, 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 knocked out fucking Jared. Boom, 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 knocked out George. Me versus the captain.
Still pissed off.
I'm frothed at this point because unbeknownst to this other guy who was a dude that was trying to get with her the entire time I was with her, walks up and cracks a joke on me, and I'm just like, so I'm fucking fuming at this point. Captain starts kicking my ass, and it was one of those fucking if Magic the Gathering ever got a movie type endings, dude. He's kicking my ass, kicking my ass, kicking my ass. I don't remember exact combo I was able to play, but I was down to 4 life. 4 life. The dude had 12 zombies on the board.
That's
just fucking pulled a card, pay, draw 3 cards, fuck it. Boom, 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 smacked him in one hand. Just bitch, done.
Nice.
And then I won the elf deck, and that was my sophomore year, so that would be 2005. And then I, met friends, on and off, on and off, on and off.
Yeah. What is your elf deck? I do believe you said is that your favorite deck that you've ever had?
And just overpoweredness and just pure strategy, you can use that deck, yes. But as far as my favorite deck of all time, I think it goes to my current deck, my Creature Bash Undead deck.
I think my
just for the fact that I built it myself.
I think my current blue black zombie deck, the Token Crusher.
Oh yeah.
Or I can either play Token Crusher, I can play Mill, or I can play Graveyard. All in one deck. It has all 3 strategies in there, and it's still 60 cards. That's probably my all-time favorite deck. Just because I can go up against anybody, and I have something.
You got something.
I got something in there.
Exactly.
That's by far my all-time favorite, and I would say my second is you played my my old Aura deck, my buff deck.
Oh, fuck that deck.
Okay, so this was back in Eldrazi when you could put the Aura buffs on creatures, and they gave them +1/+1 or +3/+3. And then it usually gives them First Strike or Trample or something like that. And I would buff up the Beetles. I would buff up the Beetles. If you have more than 4 lands, then they get +4/+4 every turn.
Yup. And they were indestructible, weren't they?
No, you could kill them, but then I would throw the Umbras on there that would make them to where you destroy the Umbra instead.
Exactly.
And that was probably the funnest deck for me when I first started. But when it comes down to my absolute favorite, it's my blue black zombie.
Now, talking Friday night or Magic in general. Did you ever have success doing the Friday night Magic circuits?
I didn't.
You never had success?
Not really. I never really did Friday night Magic a whole lot. We would go random days because
so you never tourney played basically.
That was back when I still worked at Home Depot, and I worked Thursday through Sunday, 7 at night until 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
I couldn't do Friday night Magic. That we would go on Wednesdays.
So you never really opened her up to tourney play?
No. Only during releases, which I would always have releases off. I would make sure I have releases off. And I did 4 or 5 different release parties, and I placed in, the top 10 a few times. And we're talking, this was Gameology. There were 30, 40 people playing.
Yeah.
So I did do some tournament play, but not standard tournament play.
Now, you're talking about releases and stuff like that, and it brings on the question. In a world where the economy's not the best, I mean we're recovering, it's coming back, but the average hardcore player may not have disposable income. Do you think they're rushing out standard decks too quick? With
They've kept at the same pace.
The 6 month cycle. Do you think they should open it up just a little bit to be consumer friendly?
They've kept it at that pace. It's been that pace for a long time.
I know, but I'm saying given the current state.
Well, that's why they created standard extended or whatever. They created standard extended, which instead of the last, I think it was the last four. It was the last block plus whatever the current block is, or it was at least 4 releases as standard. They made it 8.
There you go. I was unaware of that.
Which standard extended, in my opinion, I like it just because it does give you access to the cards that you bought a year ago. But at the same time, it's way harder to play standard extended because you have those
powerhouses from back in the day.
Well, you have those powerhouses, but you have those people who take Minimaxing to the next level.
Yes.
Like, I know I'm pretty bad at D&D, like, I get pretty bad at Minimaxing, but I've met a dude who it was literally at least 3 cards from every standard extended period, and within 10 cards he had some kind of combo.
Oh, wow.
And it made it not fun. It's like, might as well play Legacy at that point.
Exactly.
So that's really where I stand. I like standard extended only because I can use it for a longer period of time. But it's not really... Well, it's a pain in the ass, but it's not really huge either.
Yeah.
Most people do prefer standard.
So you're running a blue-black deck.
Blue-black zombie.
What do you think of the recent shift in power, honestly, over the last 10 years?
Well, one of the most interesting things, in my opinion, is it's not as well defined as it used to be. It used to be if you have burn cards, it's red.
Yeah.
They released a green burn a few releases ago.
And it was very interesting.
And it wasn't like Leaf Arrow, which is Leaf Arrow is really specific.
It's
a straight burn.
Yeah,
it's a straight burn.
They just called it poison or something like that.
And I think it just does 2 damage, and it's a lot of mana, but it's still a burn card.
Mill decks were
specifically blue.
Yeah, blue was all card.
And black's starting to do mill a little bit.
Yeah. Well, black's been dabbling in mill since Ravnica, though.
I mean, you can do my blue-black is heavy mill. Yeah, and it's a lot of black.
White and green. I honestly gotta say that they're opening it up a little bit. I mean, white used to be straight, just combos. That's all you did with.
There's also a lot of flying creatures and
flying
life gain.
And then green was your creature bash. That was your tank deck. And they're actually getting it. Green can regen finally.
Oh yeah.
Like gain itself some life outside of having to use the
really
elves.
good at it too. It's so. I mean, I like the changes a little bit because it does let me play some pretty cool stuff. But I'm a very, I know a lot of people, this card would work in my deck, even though it's not really, I'm a theme deck kind of guy.
Yeah.
Me, if it could work for zombies, if it's a helpful card for zombies, but it's not a zombie, it's not my fucking zombie deck.
Exactly.
That's how I am, so that's how I really look at it. So, I mean, it's cool, but it's not really, it doesn't affect me that much.
Now, this will tie into the next discussion I want to have for us. But, we all got into, when we all kind of, you had that moment of realization, you play Magic? Oh God, you play Magic? And everyone plays Magic, our little group. And we were all like, let's do it. Let's all go standard right now. And it was right at Dark Ascension. That was a fun time.
That was a really good time, too.
It was right at Dark Ascension, and it was, so perfect, because we were all super, for whatever reason, we went complete gothic mindset at that time.
Oh, yeah.
And it was everything was zombies and vampires, and the humans were all
scary. Was the zombie vampire. That's when that was.
And it was just such a perfect, the stars aligned. And that was good times,
we all got really hardcore into it too. It wasn't we're going to play Magic every once in a while. No, it was every time we hang out, Magic for hours.
We sucked Paul into it.
Oh yeah, Ludlow never played Magic before he started playing.
Oh, he got
huge. Yeah,
he was man. We were all talking about how did we stumble upon Magic? What did you play in the back? And we all admitted to playing Pokemon, the trading card game at one time. And a couple of us played Yu-Gi-Oh. I tried it. I never got into it. And then, we were talking about all these little games we were playing and stuff like that. And then he was just like, well, I played Yu-Gi-Oh. Or not. He's like, I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh. And we're like, well, try Magic. And he's like, okay. And he bought his first deck. And then, like, within 2 weeks, this guy had...
He had a fat pack. He had, like, 2 fat packs. He had a box. Like, this dude was into it.
And just, he'd come over, like... we'd have these times, everyone throw in your cards, we'll buy a card, we'll pitch in and get like
a few packs.
and we'll split it up, we'll do an auction and see who wants what and who's getting what. And or we do it just like, oh, let's do a random deck. We'll spend 20 minutes and build a random deck out of all the cards we have and see what it is. And Ludlow couldn't participate in that because and then Sparkles tried doing it too, and Sparkles brought his entire collection and I brought out my little box, and I'm like, yeah, and dump out the cards, and there's like 1,000 cards. And then Danny brings over a book bag, and he's got a couple boxes, and there's about 5,000 cards. Ludlow brings over 2 book bags. And then Sparkles...
Josh has got like 3 fucking binders. He's got like 3 binders of his rare cards, and he's got like 12 packs of fat packs just like stacked up.
And then a tote.
And a tote.
And like a 3-gallon...
I got this, guys.
That was good times. Good times.
Well, I think that's about it.
That's about it for it.
We got more to say on the subject, but for another episode.
So for the 2 fat guys discuss
Valentine's Day edition.
That was
Magic the Gathering.
We should have picked a better topic.
Oh, that was a perfect topic. We will see you next time.
Yes.
See you next time.